What's up everybody, thank you so much for joining me back into Ostriv. My name is Axfield, and with today's episode I'm going to extend my residential area by building some row houses. I've already placed my first row house, but we're going to proceed with the building there, and then I'm going to also extend the type of production that I'm going to do. But before we go into that, there's a few things I would like to discuss. So I've mentioned a couple of times that you can utilize the benches for your workers to use as a resting point. Now that's only partially true. It has changed. Noel Stetson, he pointed out that the benches only work if the benches are relatively close to the homes, and so I played with it a little bit and I could see that that is definitely the case now. Although with my previous playthroughs you would see that I did utilize the benches, and even if the benches was far from the houses they still use it, but now they only use the benches if it is close to the working place. So I'm going to show you an example. We've got now a lady over here that came to sit on the bench, and you can see there that it shows that she's taking a rest, but her house is literally just down this little passage over here. So if the houses aren't too far from where the benches are, then they will utilize the bench as a resting point. But now if you place, for example, a bench like here by the crop fields where they do all the harvesting, they won't go sit on those benches. So that was changed, unfortunately. That really helped me just with the production in general. It was so much quicker to get everything going, but obviously that was a little bit of a cheat, so that has changed. And also additionally, I want to explain the labor limit on why I said it like that. Now I've played this game for a very long time, and I found that having about, I would say anything between 6 and 8 laborers is a good amount, depending on the type of production that you do. But I limit it for 2 reasons. So the one reason is you do need a lot of laborers when you have the sowing season here with the farms, and also when you have the harvesting season. You need as many extra hands as you can get to help with sowing and then also harvesting. Also, if you've got a production building like the brickworks, you also require a lot of laborers to fill whatever the requirements are, like specifically the charcoal. Really, you need a whole bunch of that. So you can see there you need 4,000 charcoal to fulfill that. So yeah, that's why you want to keep the laborers out or available. And if you set the labor limit to 20, the computer doesn't recognize or prioritize the buildings, so it will just send a whole bunch of laborers to one specific location, and then you don't have any laborers left for any other job. And these things fill up relatively quickly. So once they've done the job, then the cycle will continue shortly after that again. So then it will utilize the same workers again, and you're stuck by not having any laborers. So yeah, I do set the labor limit quite much lower than what the peak is for that, just to manage all the resources and make sure you've got laborers for all the different production buildings. Now another thing that I want to show is that when you've got the market stalls, you can auto assign the resources. The computer is quite good in working out which products needs to be assigned at the market stall. So they look at 2 things mainly. They look at what you've got the most of in the granary, and then also what commodities you don't have yet available. So if I, for example, set the resource slots automatically, you can see here it chose now these 4 items. I'm going to just remove the sunflower also. Obviously that I've got the most of, and I don't want to use that as a commodity for the people. Now you'll also see if I go to the granary that onions and carrots, we've got quite a bit of that, although there are some commodities that we've got more of, but it will choose something that we do already have a lot of. And then for the marrow, just want to check how much marrow have we got. Yeah, you see, so we do have a lot of marrow, so that's why it chose a commodity. It's marrow is also, I think I've only got 1 market stall that's selling the marrow, yeah, over here. So, but in any case, it is pretty good with working out what you need to assign. Although I don't necessarily like to use that. It doesn't work so well if you want to assign the non-consumable items. So for example, like the shoes or the firewood. Another thing is, I've placed my first row house over here. We're going to extend it going this way, and we're going to make a whole block. But my first row house that I placed one with the store. Now if you go to the store, for some reason this doesn't work with the store in the row house. So I don't know if it is intentional or if it's something that still needs to be reworked, but you cannot use the auto assign slot for the row houses. So which is fine for me. I don't build a lot of these stores within the row houses. I prefer to use the market stalls. I just like the market stalls more personally. So because I want to utilize all the space within the row house just for apartments. And you can see here now this one basically uses the lower floor where the apartment 1 should have been. That was now where the store is really. So you lose one living space for a family. But we've got now 3 families that moved in, so I did play a little bit off screen. The town has grown significantly. We've got now 162. I've also completed the trading dock. I'm not exporting anything as of yet, although we can look at trading the sunflower oil. That's definitely something that we can trade, so let's push that up to 800. I think we can also maybe assign dried fish. I'm not sure if there's any of the towns that buys dried fish. I've got to just make double sure. But I know they do purchase the sunflower oil, so we're going to place 800 in the trading dock on this side. And I've already assigned myself a manager and a worker. Now we've got another lumberjack on this side, or a forestry. Got 3 workers assigned here, because now we do need the extra workers to accommodate the people, providing enough firewood for the people, and then also to provide for the charcoal piles, because we're using the brickworks now for the extra charcoal as well as the lime kiln. I think this is gonna take some time before we finish this quick lime over here. I've got 1 worker assigned at the lime works, and that's, as you can see, that's more than sufficient. So now because we've got the lime also, we successfully started with our production here with the tannery. You can see that we've got 2 batches going in. One is being dried and the other one is close to being finished. And we are we're producing now effectively our leather and also so our shoes. Let's see, we've got now 1150 shoes. That's pretty good. So I think we can up our trading or our exports for the shoes. I'm going to maybe push this up to 400. Let's do that to 400. There we go. Now on a later stage, I do want warm clothes to be my main export for this map specifically, or for this town, because we've got all the resources that we need to really make a good warm clothes production. We've got big rivers and we've got a lot of open space here, so we can really get a good sheep farm production going here. And I'm probably going to have to also get some more hemp production going, but in any case we'll get to that on a later stage. So I've placed my sheep farm now right over here, and I wanted to place a hay barracks here, but you can see it's a pretty steep curve and they didn't allow me to place the hay barracks over here. But now I'm thinking I want to maybe assign a worker over here. Let's use the fallow field so we can use the sheep to do the fallow. And I'm going to do my livestock limit. I'm going to maybe let's optimize the ram's livestock as well, and I'm going to bring it down to 20 just for now until we can assign some more workers. I'm going to get the laborers here as well, and we set it to 8 for the labor limit, and we assign 1 worker here, 1 lady. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think we've got everything set up here the way I want to. Now, the town that sells sheep is the town Balaglia, and I believe Durkachi also sells sheep. But I'll send a messenger now to Balaglia so that we can purchase our first sheep. I'm going to build a well point over here, so we've got the water for the sheep. Also got a well point on this side, so that should be fine. And oh, of course, then we've got the platform here. So worst case scenario, we can use the river water for the animals. And I'm going to set up myself another farm on this side. So you can see we've got plenty of land over here that we can use for farming fields. So I'm building my farm here, and once we've got some extra row houses, I'll start assigning the workers here. And then I've got an orchard that I'm going to place here. Now, I've made it a little bit more of a thinner and a more elongated orchard, because my intention is to place another one like this next to it. So then I'm going to do 2 thin ones, and then we can also do the same facing backwards. We can have 2 orchards on the back, and that's how we can just utilize the space in the best way possible. Okay, so now I'm going to just sell some dried fish here, and also sell some sunflower oil. And then we can purchase our first sheep. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's purchase maybe 8 sheep, and we're going to only purchase 1 ram. There we go. Okay, we've got enough coins, so not too concerned about that. In fact, let's maybe purchase 11 sheep here. That's as much as we can buy. And we don't have to purchase the sheep in drips and drabs. Okay, I'm gonna just say deal. And now what I'm going to also have to do is I'm going to have to open up a granary here for the mutton. So there we go. And we can also set that to 2000. Okay, that's perfect. So we filled those 2 granaries now to the brim. I think I'm going to also add wheat to this storage over here. Let's maybe also make a 2000 in this granary here. Okay, just to utilize all the space. We've got quite a bit of extra wheat here by the farm. And until I've got my windmills up and running, I'm going to maybe trade the wheat as well. But once I've got the windmills, I'm going to stop the trade for the wheat, because you can work through it pretty quickly. And I do intend to do like an alcohol production, like a horeca with the wheat. And we use the wheat also for food for the chicken coop. Now, I did mention before, I'm not intending to have a pigsty, because they really are just a pain. You get so little reward back for the pigs, and you've got to feed them so much different foods, and yeah, you can just not keep up. It just becomes a pain, an unnecessary challenge, really. Okay, let's see here. We need 7,000 bricks, and let's see how much we've got here. Now, we've already got 3,000 bricks. So I think after I've placed the farm, we can continue the building here with the row house. I'm gonna see. We've got extra workers now. I'm going to maybe assign 1 extra builder. We don't have so many extra workers because we only got 3 additional families here. But I'm going to try to just boost the building a little bit more. Yeah, our charcoal piles are running very effectively now, seeing that we've got those extra lumberjacks. And we should be able to create the bricks also a little bit faster. Okay, so this is quite cool. I think what we are going to do with Barwin Cove, we can, on a later stage, we can sell the sheep hides, because once I start with my warm cloth productions, the tailors usually can't keep up. They take very long to create the warm clothes, so then you end up sitting with a whole bunch of extra sheep hide. So we can use the sheep hides to trade with, I believe, on a later stage. But it's quite funny, like how this town, they purchase sheep hide, but then they sell sheepskin. So I'm just like, that's just very strange for me. Now I'm going to also off screen, I'm going to place some more paved road. You can see I've already placed it in this little passage over here and also going down this way. Now I'm also only placing the paved roads on the locations where I know I'm not going to build anything else. I'm still going to build a lot over here. So that's why I'm just leaving this space open, but I think it's going to look really nice once it's done. Now my intention is to place a barber surgery more or less like this. I think it's going to look nice if I keep it like in a straight line, more or less like that. And then in this little space over here, I want to place a gazebo, and I'll just do a few plants and shrubs and all of that around it. I can even look at maybe building this patron, what's it called, the patron of arts monument. So we can even look at placing this maybe here, or maybe two next to each other here, next to the market stalls. That's not a bad idea. We place it like that. That might look really nice. So you can purchase this as a DLC, just to support the development of this game. It doesn't cost a lot, so yeah, it's just basically you showing your support, and they give you just a little incentive that you can build within your town also. Okay, so we're going to continue with the building of this corner row house. We need how many? 6,600 bricks. Okay, let's see what we've got. Yeah, we've already got 3,000. Preparing for burning. Okay. Forming bricks. That's going to take some time before we can finish that row house. Okay, but once that one is finished, then I'll assign workers here by the orchard as well as by the farm. Now I'm going to definitely go with the apples. So the reason why I generally always go with the apples is they last longer, and with the apples I can trade with them. So it's just, for me, it just makes the most sense to have the apples. Another cool thing that I think would be really awesome to bring into the game is the ability to make ciders, apple cider specifically, because yeah, that just gives another more depth, or it just gives more depth to the game generally. And many times I end up with a whole bunch of apples that I don't get to sell quick enough, and they go off. So then it would be good to have those apples to maybe assign them to make ciders maybe. And we don't even need a new structure. We can use the distillery and to choose to make different alcohol, you know. So for example, if we had to select the distillery, here we go. So we can make Horeca from the distillery, but then it would be nice to have the option to choose between Horeca and apple cider that we can make at the distillery. So I don't know, I think that's an easy thing that you can add to the game, and it just gives a little bit more depth. Okay, we're trying our next 1,000 bricks. We're still requiring 4,000 bricks. So yeah, like as I've said, that's gonna take some time still. Okay, we've got again a messenger here from Balaglia. Right, so I fast forwarded the game now. We're still waiting for 1,000 bricks, which is very close to being done. And then we've got our next row house set up. So then from there we're going to start receiving some more families, and I'm going to assign them here by the orchard as well as by the farm. I'm going to maybe just assign one manager and one worker for now. We can create the crop fields within the next episode, because we're going into winter now in any case. So we'll wait till we start the new year before we set up all the farming. And but we can get a nice production going on this side as well. And I just want that extra workers now so that we can have enough laborers for all the work that we've got on this side of the river. It's going significantly better, and we've got the sheep farm now up and running. So you can see here we've got now 14 different sheep. We did get 2 lambs additionally. After I purchased them, they really bred very quickly. So we've got those additional lambs now. Now I do want to set up another tannery somewhere close to the sheep farm. So I'm thinking of maybe placing a tannery somewhere here. In fact, we can place it here. Even with the slope, they do allow me to place the tannery over here. So that's not a bad idea. We can probably place it more or less like that. And I'll use this tannery specifically to tan the sheepskin. And then we can look at building the fulling mill. Maybe, yeah, maybe round about here. This is also not a bad option. To have the fulling mill maybe round about there. It's quite a distance for the workers to walk, but I think it's a good location. I want to use all of the space here for the fishing docks. I'm going to add a fishing dock or 2 on this side as well. Maybe 3. So we can place the fulling mill over here and then another one on a later stage over here. So I want to add another bridge, and the bridge is probably going to run across like so. I want to have it like facing the same direction as these ones. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Although I suppose it will be fine having it like this. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to place a bridge right over there, and we can have the fulling mill next to it. So once we've got some extra residential buildings up and running on this side, yeah, then everything's going to really go smoothly. I'm placing another hay dryer here, seeing that we've got now the extra sheep. So I've got it right up here. We just need to remove that one tree, so they're already busy removing that. But we've got now everything that we need here for the row house. So this is really the last step that I want to do for this specific episode. And then when we're in the next episode, we can get all the farming land set up on this side. And we can also get our warm clothes production up and running. So I'm pretty keen to get that going. I suppose at that stage I'm also going to sign some more workers here by the tailors. Okay, there we go. We've got 3 apartments here. So we've got 3 families now additionally that can move in. So then we should be close to 200 population. Now I'm going to off screen just build up my brick production. And then I'm going to off screen maybe just add another row house. But I'll do a bigger one. So we're going to place it. I'll probably do this one. So, and I'm going to place it like here. More or less. Yeah, just like that. So we're going to connect it there, and then we've got a little passage to go into the square of the row houses, and we should be able to get 5 families in this little block. Okay, so we've got the hay dryer now also up and running, and we're just waiting for those extra families. Let's just maybe assign 1 worker on each and 1 worker here for the orchard tree as well. Okay, I don't have any workers here yet for this warehouse. Just kept it open for some time. Let's assign 1 worker, and I want to look at a few items that I can place here. So the lime we can definitely store in here, and I'm gonna go for 2,500. The window glass, yeah, we can also store that. Must maybe set this to 2,000. Okay. Because we've got 5 items that we can slot in. So just want to see. I definitely would want my warm clothes, I think also. So we'll keep 1 slot open for the warm clothes. But other than that, there's nothing else really that I want to store in bulk at this stage. I suppose we could have placed the wheat in here in the warehouse just to open up the granary, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave it like that for now. And we've got a worker here at the orchard. I'm not really sure if I do want to produce dried fruit. I don't know. I think I'm going to just keep the fresh apples, because we can trade with that, and that will also be like an extra commodity that we can sell within the market stall. So I think I'm not going to produce any dried fruit, at least not at this stage. So on this side, what I want to do is, with the farming fields, I'm going to produce some extra sunflower oil, and I'll probably do one crop field extra of the wheat, and then I'll also do another big crop field of the hemp. And then we'll take it from there. We'll see what we can do additionally. But you can see here now, she's planting, the worker we've got here is systematically planting all the apple trees. Okay, but this is pretty much all I wanted to do for this episode. Within the next one, we're going to get a lot done. Okay, so we will get our warm clothes production going, and we will get some farmland up and running on this side as well, same with the orchard. Although with the orchard, it's going to take a few years before we can harvest our first apple. So yeah, but just to get it up and running, and maybe to get a second orchardry, I think that's also a good idea. But I want to thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the support and all the comments, and also for giving me some tips and advice. There's always something that I can learn, and then I will see you then in the next one. Bye bye.
In a game of adventure and strategy, we make our mark. That's the game of